ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Who ready? We ready? Motivation to youth only. Mentally feel like Kobe, I'm like Jokic with the rock. You physically couldn't hold me, I don't care if you pushing 40. You can never little bro me. Euro step like Ginobili, from young OG to the OG. From nosebleeds to floor seats. Circle stronger than Cuban links. My gold dance, your gold plated. You verse me, now that's the reach. We ready? Who ready?
Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the One on One Sports Show here on the BMU Network. I'm Mr. Bennett, followed by my partners, Trey Ferg, my 7B brother, the brothers from Texas, Brother Shawnee and Brother Dante, here on a Wednesday evening on the BMU Network. Again, if you'll see on the bottom of the screen, you'll see our Cash Apps. Again, we appreciate anything that you give us in our Cash Apps. But more importantly than that, we ask that you support the BMU Network, okay? So, again, consider becoming a member of the network. BMU brings you programming 7 days a week, all different types of shows and programming. So, again, consider becoming a member. Drop us a super chat, anything that you can give us. But if anything, just click the like button when you come in. Helps us with the algorithm. But, again, good to be with you guys here on this. Got the crew together. So we're going to just get right into the show here. So we were talking about the Olympic Games. And so we were talking about how, obviously the U.S. had, again, another successful games. 126 gold medals. Out of that, they tied with China for 40 gold medals. And, so the one thing that really kind of struck out to me is, where did China come from? Really, I mean, it's one thing that, obviously they put a lot of money behind their athletes. But the thing that got me the most is that they're competing like legitimately in sports that we never even saw these guys competing in before. And this is definitely giving me vibes from the 80s when you had the U.S. and Russia going at it. It was like capitalism versus communism. And nobody really had an understanding of, it was like a platform to promote your ideology. And the way China's doing it, they're starting to ball in areas. I'm like, we were watching a 4x100 track team. It's like, where these Chinese athletes come from? They were never known for running track before. So they've definitely been making inroads. But let's just quickly go around the room. Your thoughts on China and their ascension, and how long do you think this is going to continue? Because they're definitely on the ascend when it comes to not just Olympics completely, but just all these other sports they're starting to compete and in some places dominate in. So what do you think is going on there? You start out with Brother Dante, and we'll just go around the room.
Man, I feel like it's a real thing as far as focusing on something. When you make a plan, I know a lot of times like people don't think about plans, but it's like, especially China's a country that's planned out. They thought this out. They wanted to look really good for the 2008 games, and they looked, good and been represented from that games on. And I respect it. I like it when you focus on it. I know, obviously, like you said, with the Cold War, Russia was always that. And Russia tried so hard, they were suspended from this year's games because of
right.
You ain't trying, but. That old theory, but it's like, I respect what they're doing. I like it. It's like, hey, you can find the different sports, you can get the list, and you can advocate for what sports, and you know what's going to be in the games. You get the children, you raise them up, and you put them in these sports, and you get them there, and you funnel them. So I respect what they're doing, and especially, like you said, hey, they're in the 4x1. That's not something you would think, but they're changing how you think. Like, hey, we're a world power, we're here. And, I respect it. And, respect it. I appreciate it. Makes us better. Like at the end, we missed the silver in volleyball that would have gave us the edge overall gold medals. And that's the sport I know we're excellent at. And I hate that we didn't win that one. You always want your country to win the most gold medals.
Right. Shawnee, what's your thoughts on the rising power of China, and it seems like they're dominant in the Olympics now? It used to be the Russians for long, but again they got suspended. Obviously, with the things going on with the war, and now with the doping from last Olympics, they're not really relevant at this point. I don't know when or if they'll be allowed even back into the IOC, but China definitely seems to be feeling that toll in a way that I've never seen before. But what do you think about that?
Well, I think I remember seeing some Chinese track teams. They was able to compete. They wasn't winning the sprints, but I was able to see them competing. But I was noticing that in this year's Olympics as well. They were competing in a lot of just other events. Like, there's a lot of events in the Olympics, and a lot of
Yeah.
times the Chinese was in there. The Chinese was in there. There may have been maybe one American or none. Um, Now, yes, both countries finished with 40 goals, but U.S. still finished with the most overall.
Yeah.
So that probably still shows U.S. probably still potentially compete in more events just because I think it was like 120. I think they was like up by
Yeah,
30 plus.
126 total for U.S., 91 for China. Great Britain was third with
So
65
plus
total.
35.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that alone shows you that the U.S. they do their fair of competing in these various events as well. But yeah, China it's like they pick the events that they want to compete in, and they do damn good in it. Track is
Yeah,
just that's a U.S. and Caribbean thing. That's just something that we were always good at. So it may take this almost like basketball with the
Right.
U.S. But
But it's interesting you mentioned track. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's interesting you mentioned track because I'm seeing, if you notice what a lot of track teams, like even Japan, there's a lot of melanin on those teams. So it seems right. I mean, it seems like what a lot of these countries. Yeah, you run it for Italy. I think even the last Olympics, I think the gold medal was this brother from Italy. I think his father was from Louisiana or something like that. But China, it's like it's none of that. So I can't blame it on the black genes or whatever that why they're doing so well. But it's a different time for sure. But Trey Ferg, why don't you give your comments on that? What's going on with China, man? I mean, they're making noise in a big way.
I mean, you all hit on some great points, but like I said earlier, I look at it, outside just the sports, man. China, they're going to select athletes. If it's almost like they're going to select, and they're going to put them in these regiment training rituals for 4 years because their focus is the Olympics. Like you say, I think it's good for the sport though. Anytime you have the competition levels rise to the occasion, I think it's always good for the sports. I think America has an opportunity to capitalize just based off this Olympics being here in 2028. I think it has an opportunity to capitalize, and if everything's go well, I think America will definitely represent even better. I think the new crop of athletes and a lot of these different sports opening up, but it's yet to be seen, man. It's too many distractions in America, man. Athletes gotta go to picnics and funerals and go hang out with their friends, and so it's gonna be interesting to see, man. I think I heard that they took out the break dancing.
We're gonna talk about that a little later on.
I think gonna take
I
out
think that
the
breakdancing was French culture. Like they
Hey, hold
chose
on,
that
Johnny.
because of them.
Shawnee,
I guess it's
no,
big over there.
Shawnee. Breakdancing started in the fucking projects in the
Yeah, it started up here,
with
but I
black
guess
folk.
it's big up there, so they thought
With
they wanted to
black
put
folk.
their spin on it. I guess
With black
I don't
folk. You mean tell me all these overweight kids, they parents used to fucking break dance. Y'all can't show y'all kids how to do some egg rolls and spin and represent the United States in the next 4 years, get them in good shape. Come on, man.
I don't
That's
think
our
it's as
shit.
popular as it was back then.
That's our shit. Okay, but we don't make it popular. Think about it. These other countries probably been recently. The representation looked terrible. I don't know if y'all watched it. I could be.
Well, listen. All things being said, I don't care if it's the French, the U.S., whatever. The whole thing got run essentially by one person who kind of made a mockery of the whole thing. That just I've never seen a sporting event where one person becomes the running story and meme of the entire all those other people, even though they didn't have a lot of melanin in there. I certainly agree. They didn't have a lot of black and Latinos in there, but still, to have your
point. I don't think she scored a point, and she gets more attention than the
But I would love to see the number of hits, number of IG and Snapchat hits that lady got.
I'm kind of retarded.
It say apparently she's over there in Australia now, living off her 15
Oh,
minutes of fame.
I'm
right now.
sure she
Even
is.
though it's negative, but she's living off of it.
I'm sure she is. But that was crazy. But let's move on to track and field. The track and field here. So again, U.S. certainly represented big time in the track and field. Yeah, that's my dog. That's my dog. That's Dr. Strange. That is actually my dog. And he was getting ready for the LA games. He's like, look, I can do that. So I put my dog up in there, and he was going to be performing at the games there. So shout out to Dr. Strange.
Are we doing the egg roll or something?
Nah, he's doing the spin. He's better than that Australian lady was doing. I don't know what. So look, if she could do it, my dog is like, look, I know I can do that. So shout out to my dog. But again, track and field, again, very successful for the U.S. team. We had a winner of the 1,500 meters. We had the long jump sister who won the long jump championship. But really, I know we talked a little bit about this in the back room. I'm going to kind of make this a little bit more succinct. Okay. The question I have is, who is the queen of track and field? So you had Sha'Carri in her return. So we all know where she was over 3 years ago. She was couldn't go to the Olympic Games. There was a lot of talk and there was a lot of chatter and whatnot. So a lot of people were writing her off. But she definitely rebounded. She won the this last world championship she just won. Came in close to winning a gold in the 100. Shout out to that sister who won from the islands. But she anchored the 4x1, and she did it in style, where she's actually looking over to her left, to her right, to just pass you guys, and she did like Roadrunner and Beep, and she just took off with those guys. So you got her, but then you got Gabby. Shout out to Gabby Thomas, gold medal in the 200, anchor in the 4x100. And anchor in the runners in the 400. So she got gold medal in 3. And this sister is a PhD in biomedical something, Harvard grad. I mean, this lady is just awesome in so many different ways. But then you have arguably one of the GOATs. Now, I remember, Trey, you remember like Edwin Moses from back in the day on the track. He was dominant. No one could beat him in the 400 hurdles. He won like 80 races in a row or something like that. Just totally dominant. But now you got Sydney McLaughlin, who seems like every race that she races, she breaks the world record. So she just puts the stamp on everything that she does. These are young, beautiful, marketable women. And so I'm like, so what do you guys think one is the best story out of those three? And who would you want to see as the face of track and field, at least from the sister side, who going forward? Because each one of them, I think, certainly take the recognition and branding of the sport to another level if they choose to. I know Sydney, she works on a different level than some other ladies do. But what do you guys think out of those three? What do you think is the greatest potential there to really carry the sport forward?
See, I'll start on this one. So I think Sha'Carri, because a lot of times with the 100, you make your name off of that one if you were in that race. And the way that Alfred won that one, and she won that one convincingly. Sha'Carri ended up getting her gold in the 4x1. So I think the best story out of these Olympics was Gabby Thomas, because that's when people were talking about Harvard grad, how smart she is. And she had like you said, she won 3 golds. Now the face, it should be Sydney McLaughlin, but her personality, she's a married woman who just, I'm married and I train and run, and that's it. And she has her sponsorships on the side, but she's not doing nothing to shine that light on her. That's just not her personality. She's just focused. Right. Dante, you probably so the Rangers, they have Corey Seager, and I remember people explaining to him like he's a hitting machine. This is the way he hits. Dude don't show no emotions on there. He just come to that plate and he gonna eventually figure you out and damage you. That's how Sydney is. You don't hear nothing from her, but when she gets on that track, she just flat out dominates. Like you say, she then it breaks a record every time her feet touches the track, whether it's hurdles or just an open 400. She should be the face, but her personality, and I don't think that's just she doesn't want it. But if there's anybody who should be the face of this women's track right now because of just her greatness, and she's only what 25. Sha'Carri is 24.
Yeah, I mean, she easily is going to have it. She could easily have another Olympics in her for sure if that's what she chooses to do. But I think again, to your point, you just don't know where her focus is. She could just go off and just do ministry if she wanted. I mean, she just, like I said, the way how she processed to be that dominant, but be so in some ways detached from it all, saying, "Look, this isn't for me." It's amazing. But Trey, what do you think? Who do you think is what's the best story out from those three at the Olympics, and then who do you think could be really the face of U.S. or quite frankly world track and field? Because again, I think they all each have something special to offer.
And that's where I think I'm stuck at, because if I'm in charge of promoting and this thing, they all would be standing on Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
I would promote them all together, because you have a great story and a woman who's married, both two women that are married, both dominating their sport. Then you got the comeback story of the last 5 years, Sha'Carri Richardson, just based off what we've seen that play out into, and she came back stronger. She's a whole new brand, a whole new image, and it's showing in that capacity, and everybody walked away with gold. The two, the hurdles, the 400, and what's McLaughlin, and what's the other young lady name?
Again, Gabby Thomas. Again, won
Thomas.
Gold in the 200,
Dominated.
the 4x1, and the 4x4.
Dominated. They dominated. You know what I'm saying? And in the fashion that they did it. I mean, I would just put them all together, man. Y'all gonna be together, and because you can see the success now. And I started seeing commercials with Sha'Carri as soon as she went to the Olympics. She's on Olive Olay, and if you ever seen her without natural hair, that was golden. And and they won. So if I'm gonna say one, just because of us being in America, I think McLaughlin would be 0.1 ahead of Gabby. Then Sha'Carri coming in third. But anyone, you can have different lists, and you're gonna get different people on that list that's leading. So shout out to them.
Right. Dante, what do you got on it? Who's the face, and what's the most compelling story?
I want to go with what Trey first said, but what I was thinking through my mind, especially when he said the natural hair, the reaction I saw on social media with Sha'Carri, it was just like she connects, and like I said, she said in the interview, she was just like, hey, when she meets people and they be like, hey, what does it feel like to be fast? She was like, look, it's great, but she was like, I'm just like you, I'm just fast. I'm a regular person, and you can tell it the way she talks, the way she wants to. She says she wants to interact with the people behind stage. From watching Sprint on Netflix, she's got like you said, they all have their own claim to it. Even with Sydney, with the fact that she may be pouring, but it's just like consistent excellence is a good thing. We've seen that from like Tim Duncans and different people across different sports. But Sha'Carri, as far as the face, the flair, the hair, the nails, like it's just getting it. Like I saw a woman post a video where they had just ran the 4x1. And she's just like, oh, they're going to be on TV. So she starts fixing her wig, and the woman's doing a reaction video. The reaction to her is just like, okay, now we got a gold around your neck. We got a silver. And it's just like, and we got, based off the success at the Worlds, it's like now it's at a point where it's like, if you put her as the face, you can argue other people obviously have more merits. But as far as the flair and the star power, I think she's built for it. She's 24. She'll be 28 next game. I feel like if you make that the face, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, I think with any one of them, I don't think you'd be disappointed. I mean, they're beautiful women. I mean, yes, I know this is sports, but these are beautiful women, cover girl type looks on these. On these, I know Sha'Carri gets a little crazy with the hair and all that kind of stuff, but again, she, natural. You could tell naturally. Take all that stuff off. She's a pretty woman. So plenty of marketability. I think in the U.S., I just think people love a rags to riches story, or like a comeback story. So I think Sydney has just been consistent like her whole life, like just constant, steady. Like I said, she's married already. So again, guys aren't going to be hitting her up in the DMs like that. But Sha'Carri, I mean, she is, again, I think if she continues to be disciplined and be about her business, I think she could be like a major, like crossover type of star. Saw her at she was at the finals, the men's finals basketball games in front with Carmelo and those guys cheering USA on. But I think she's kind of running in those circles there. So imagine if like a LeBron James gets around and be like, hey, get with my crew and whatnot, and let's see if we can promote you and brand you in certain ways and get you deals and things of that nature. Sydney, I think Sydney, she just like, I want to go home to my husband. I just want to chill out and play with my dog or whatever, and that's basically it. But she certainly could take it. But Gabby, again, smart as a whip. I mean, she's everything, breaks every stereotype, everything, that she's this incredible athlete and super smart, and she can have all those things. So certainly shout out to them for certainly representing Team USA. Now, certainly on the men's side, certainly we had Noah Lyles. Shout out to him. He won the gold medal by 5/100ths of a second. So again, it was a close race. In fact, even at the end of the race, they didn't even know he won the race, right? So they had to go and look at it for a minute before he, he did his thing. But then he comes down apparently with COVID. Now again, nobody knows what time he came down with it. But the question is, one, did he have it at the 100? And should he have been in there? We know obviously he didn't run in the 4x1. And he wound up third in the 200. So again, what do you guys think of Noah, his performance, the way he handled things? Should Team USA maybe look into that a little bit more? What do you guys think on Noah overall and how this was handled? Because clearly, the men could have certainly used him on a 4x1 side. I'm not saying that they would have won, because the men consistently, they've had problems with handoffs since 2008. They haven't won since 2008 in the 4x1. And certainly they've struggled for a long time with that. So again, Noah Lyles, Olympic performance here. You have thoughts on it, Trey Ferg? I'll start with you, and we'll just take it around.
Shout out to Noah Lyles, man. I think from what I saw, and I think a little bit of the fame got to him a little bit. I don't think he was prepared as he should have been coming into the Olympics. Just my understanding of what I saw. He's a great runner, man. He's going to probably win in 28. I think he'll be a little more focused, a little more determined, you know what I'm saying? But I just think that time, because he was so close, he ran his ass off. I got him in the 100. I was like, yeah, he got that just by that toe on that line got him. So,
Mm-hmm.
But again, man, at the end, I don't think he wanted to lose, and he seen it coming. He saw that loss coming. But I think he was, I saw him fall out. I hope he's okay long term. You know what I'm saying? The fact, if he had COVID, I don't know, man. Do you tell somebody you got COVID and you're going to the biggest race of your life?
The biggest race in the world.
Run it out, so
yeah.
But again, man, I just hope athletes just be a little bit more focused on taking care of their bodies, being a little bit more, locked in. So when you come to these, because I'm expecting a great performance in 28 from the Americans, man. I'm expecting a great performance. Everybody must be locked in. So
yeah, for sure. Dante, what you got on it?
Man, I was just talking about watching the show Sprint, and my wife just kept saying, man, Noah is so cocky. And I said, I know, I love it. It's a shame that we do sports like that. We don't just do consistent greatness. But if you talk, and of course, I was like, the part about the world champions, and it's like, look, I'm glad he stands on what he says and he says it. I don't agree with him at all on it, but the flamboyance and being, to want to be, hey, I want the double-double. I want to be that good. I respect it. It's just that, hey, look, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know Trey Ferg as far as the preparation, because as far as him winning, I watched him run the semifinal. It's like, okay, he looked like he's holding back. He did the great, that 100 meters gave me chills, because it was just like him to have the confidence, because he took it off, and I was like, what are you doing? Just wait. But he knew, because the rule is the chest. So his chest went over, and he won it by, literally have the same time, except for going down to milliseconds. So I respect him for that. Once he won the one, and he's known as a 200 guy. I knew he was going to win the 200, and then I saw it, and I was like, hey, he didn't have a good race. I was at work, me and another coworker, he was like, hey, the race is going, and I was just like, cool. So we're like watching it, just locked in. I hate that he didn't get it. He still medal by getting bronze, but I want to say I don't know how much it affected it. I'm waiting for him to kind of do an interview or explain what happened. But all I can say is I'm with you. I think train, focus, do great in the worlds, and then in 28 games, I think we're gonna get the home boost, the home country boost, because Paris dang sure got it. They won a lot. You can tell like the pride of winning in your country. So I'm excited to see what he's gonna do. I mean, like I said, I'm excited to see just overall as far as the sprinters in American sprinting. I agree with what Carl Lewis said. I already like I got a friend of mine that was and I think he was the all conference in college in track. So I deferred to him on track. And he immediately, I was like, I was waiting for what you had to say about the men's 4x1. He just ripped them to shreds about what it is. And it's like all these track people, Carl Lewis ripped them to shreds. It's just like, are they not listening? They need to listen to some of the former greats, that are saying things in behind closed doors and get a plan to get it together. We have too much talent to not be winning the 4x1. So
Yeah, I agree on Carl, but I think Carl is almost like a black sheep in that track community. I think he said too much over the years, and I don't think he said, look, I'll coach a team for nothing. But I don't think nobody wants to touch him because, again, he's just had a history of always saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. And so I think that I think U.S. track just stays away from him for that particular reason because he's just too vocal. And but anyway, Shawnee, get your thoughts in on Noah Lyles and that whole situation.
Well, Noah, it's no secret. He's confident and he likes to talk. So my whole thing is you like to talk, make sure you bring it on your field of play. And if it don't go your way, you can't. Well, especially I don't even think Noah had an issue with it, but people who like to support Noah, all of a sudden they have an issue, especially when USA Basketball when they won the gold, end up putting the social media
don't play
tweets
for
out
Bron.
about Noah, and that's not the players, that's just whoever runs that social media account.
Right.
But yeah, he had COVID. I remember seeing him before the announcement even came out. He was backstage. I think he was checking in somewhere, and he already had the mask on. And I was like, "Oh, I guess I was looking at it like, okay, I guess he's trying to protect himself because he want to make sure he's up, 100% before his race."
Right.
And then it turned out he had COVID, and they said he had like a fever, like 102 at that time. So he had COVID. Now my whole thing with the COVID thing is that okay, he barely squeaked out the 100 race. Then when the 200, he got third. When he came, then after the race, he laying all on the track and whatnot. Had to get a wheelchair and get him pushed off the track. They say, hey, he got verified for COVID, and it went back to me. It went back because I saw him the previous day on TV with the mask. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So I'm like, okay, COVID is pretty much like the flu. It is, it zaps your energy, and it's a good chance it's gonna make you sluggish. So you gotta have real strong mentality to push through it. So okay, cool, But then I saw the clip of him before the race. Before the race, COVID. He had COVID. Like I said, 'cause I saw him walking around with the mask on, so he already knew he had COVID before the race. And the clip of him jumping, running, when they was calling the sprinters to the track ready to get in the blocks, he's jumping, running. I'm like, damn, they're running all around the starting blocks or whatnot, pandering to the crowd. And I'm like, okay, if you have COVID and at this time look like you had a fever, to me, if you choosing to still go perform, you gonna save all your strength for the race.
Yeah,
This dude, he's literally jumping up and down, looking like he's perfectly fine.
Wasting energy.
And then after the race, he collapses all on the track and
all
getting a
Paris.
wheelchair and all this. I'm like, dude, if you were sick, why don't you just so and then now it sounds like COVID is you using it as an excuse when I see you jumping up and down. So people's like, you must have caught COVID as soon as you crossed the finish line.
Right.
Because now and if you look at I looked at random social media and some YouTube, they killing him over there in the Caribbean. Oh man, they killing him over there in the Caribbean. They laughing how the dude land on the ground and whatnot. And so I believe having COVID while you sprint, that's a legit reason why you run sluggish. But that was prior to the clip of you seeing him, all these pre-race antics. I'm like, dude, you sick by this time. If you obviously had the energy to do all of this before the race, I mean, he was doing a whole lot. I don't want to hear you all of a sudden using COVID as an excuse after you cross the finish line. You should have saved your energy, and a lot of people, I was debating somebody online, he talking about, well, that's just how he gets his adrenaline rush. I'm like, dude, COVID is like flu. You barely going to have enough strength to perform. Yes. If you choose to perform, save as much as you can to race. Don't just jump. I mean, this dude was doing I don't know if y'all seen the clip.
Sonny,
that dude was doing a whole lot.
Sonny, didn't you run track?
I ran in high school, like my sophomore and junior year.
So you didn't waste all that energy warming up outside of warming up.
You probably do a couple of little high knees, and that's it. And that's it.
And like you said, knowing you had it, it's the world stage. I think he was showing off a little bit too much, wasted that energy, and it caught up to him. Simple as that.
Right. Now, there was also some video that I saw that I guess that there was some after parties or whatever. So he was like in a club kind of setting and he had the flag on, he was dancing. I'm like, if you got COVID, you're still supposed to isolate yourself for a week or two, right? If that was going on, then why you and all those people or whatnot and you getting your dance on or whatnot? So I don't know. It was, but it just kind of came off. But I think, from that, but also, again, his previous comments talking about other athletes, like basketball players, you don't have world championship. Tyreek Hill called him out today saying he would beat him. Now, look, in a 40, I think all bets are off because I think if you see how Noah Lyles runs, he's definitely, it's that last 40 meters is where he typically catches up. He's not great out the block. So Tyreek may get him in a 40, but I don't know about a full 100 though. And Tyreek, he's fast, but I don't think he's not Noah Lyles fast though.
And I don't want to say when I saw somebody, and I think I commented on Clarence Hill Jr.'s post. He's a writer for the 4-Star Telegram, and I was like, why do they give this credence? It makes us as sports fans make it look like we're dumb. We know the difference between football speed and track speed. Even if you are new to both sports, you can see, hey, these guys run faster, these guys are bigger, these guys are built to run. And it's just like, I hate when they give that credence. And I knew, I was like, as soon as Tyreek said that, it was going to cause some attention. But I always say this, I don't love the comment, but you open yourself up for it when you mention those things. Like I posted in the chat when it's like, hey, we don't play for bronze. And then the whole, hey, are we world champions now? People are like, y'all are making this point for him. And I was like, no, you're not. Because the simple point is, and when Giannis agreed, I was like, okay, so you get a foreigner to agree with you. That foreigner is not playing in his home country. He came over here to play at the best country, the better play. All the players that are the top guys for their Olympic teams, they're playing in the NBA, and that's why they're able to say world champions. And it's just like, hey, that's a known thing, and it's an American thing. We know if it's our league, we know that we're the best. And that's just, the only thing we're not, I would say we're not the best in. There's a few things, but one of them I can think of in particular is our soccer. Their soccer players come when they're old and broke down and get $30 million to come play like 10 games. So it's just like, yeah, that's what we're not the best in. But in basketball, you know what it is. And Noah, like you said, he wants more attention for his sport, and he got it. He damn sure got it at the Worlds, and it's carried on to the Olympics. And it's helping his brand. He's with Adidas, so hey, keep doing what you do to grow your brand. Like what Shawnee said, you got to back it up. Like you said, I saw the club picture. I couldn't confirm because with the internet, they'll put anything out there. Like this was Noah last night, and I was like, you got to be careful. I was like, I can't confirm whether or not, but I didn't, and I didn't see the warm up either. So if I would have known about the warm up, I'd have been like, hey man, you over here, you can't be no disrespect, Mr. Benny. You can't be over here looking like Paul Pierce, getting wheeled out, and then just run the race, just calm down. Man, I hated that game, by the way, Mr. Benny.
I'm telling you, if y'all see that video, Trey, it looked like you saw the video.
Yeah,
But if y'all see it, y'all like, what the hell are you doing? I
I
thought you
know
were
exactly.
sick.
I know what
but I
you're
did
talking
see
about.
Man.
other athletes wearing masks inside that little that little gathering area. I did see other
Yeah.
athletes wearing masks.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah,
just
because I heard it was several Olympic athletes who caught COVID
I
over
heard that. I heard it was like
Yeah.
COVID kind of was running around out there, and and you guys know what happens at the Olympics in the Olympic Village.
there. Well,
No.
this year I heard a lot of people they was not satisfied with that Olympic Village. I heard a lot of them was leaving because the living situation was
yeah,
ridiculous.
accommodation.
You heard the NBA, they put their own money in and stay at a 5-star hotel.
It's fucked up.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
And that's what happened with
Absolutely.
the Jamaican team. They saw what they conditions were, and they
Oh
do.
yeah.
So that sort of threw them out of the.
That's that video Fraser Price was explaining to I guess her bus driver why they won't let her warm up before she ultimately pulled out the race.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Let's move on to another venue. Again, shout out though to Willie Galt and Bob Hayes and Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah. These are guys who are track guys who made the transition, played, had decent careers in the NFL. And because again, they say a lot, like you were saying earlier, Dante, that track speed doesn't always correlate to football speed and whatnot. But those guys were able to certainly make the transition. Don't see too many track guys in the NFL like you used to back in the day. But I know those three guys, certainly stood out from back in the day. But moving over to basketball, yeah, which was big wins for the U.S. But we got to talk about a couple things here. One, on the women's side, so again, women won, but it was tight. I mean, France, they definitely had their best team going there. It wasn't an easy contest for the U.S. Had a slow start, had to kind of grind to win. It seems like the world is catching up in both the men and women's game when it comes to basketball. And so, again, I know this was, I think the women, there was like their 8th straight gold medal in the games. We may not be able to expect that to continue if the world keeps putting up these quality players. But in addition to them winning, again, certainly it was good of them to win. Not a lot of buzz there. So again, we talked about the absence of certain people on this team. Caitlin Clark. Now again, I don't think she would have made a difference in terms of them, winning the medal or winning easier in the game or whatnot. But we certainly talked about when it was announced what the team was, and they said her nor Angel Reese were on the team. Certainly, these two women certainly carried a lot of momentum into the WNBA. And from a marketing point of view, it would have looked good. Certainly it could have helped everybody. But what do you think of the women's performance? Certainly in the certainly the semifinals they pretty much handled their business, but the final against France, and certainly, do you think the brand overall could have been helped if you had a Caitlin or a Reese certainly on the team?
I'll start with this one. I saw that. I hated that. I woke up. I went to church on Sunday. I started off watching the game, and I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna pull off. It doesn't matter. I'm about to go, And then I noticed something. I knew something was up when obviously you silence your phone. But then after church, I was like, I haven't gotten a notification of the game. I said, so the game must have been closer because I haven't gotten a notification. And then I pull out my phone. I get in the car, and I'm like, whoa, we won by 1 point. And it's just like, and it was the fact that it won in the fact that they were a toe on the line, from being able to go that game going to overtime. And it's all this team in their home country. I thought it was really cool for the Olympics that they pushed it, and both the men's and women's team made the gold medal game. So it made it really, 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 feisty. Really, that game, what I could see was physical. And I did see that. I was like the free throw attempts, and I was like, okay, France has been getting home cooking with the free throw attempts all Olympics,
Right.
and, so it's like rightfully so. You understand it, but it's just like I felt like as far as the brand, I want to say Nneka Ogwumike. Make sure I want to get her name right. I don't think she ever made an Olympic team, so we don't need to go ahead and break rooms and break protocols to allow Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark in. Yes, they could have made it, but in that game being physical, I think Angel would have struggled with the physicality, and I definitely think Caitlin would have. So I do agree that they would have enhanced it. You gotta wait your turn. Now I will say this: Diana Taurasi, as great as she is with the 6 medals, goddamn, she's 42. Why the hell are you still playing? Now that spot could have went to someone else, some of the younger, not those in general, but there's if you look at it, the league is so unique with the W. There's fewer teams, so there are a lot of people chomping at the bit to be all stars, to be on this Team USA. But they let it kind of they let the great people get on those spots and keep them for a while. I think that does need to change. But like you said, the world is catching up. Keep some of those fresh legs to come. Now,
Yeah.
I will say, respect to Diana, she's one of the greats. But hey, man, that's but she gets that distinction. You could say the same on the male side as far as why KD and them were still there, but obviously it's needed. But I want to say in this case, I don't know, man. I want to say I'm glad that they did keep them out. Let them chomp at the bit. Let them be great. And then in 4 years, when it's in America, those games are going to be sold out. Those games are going to be sold out. If Angel and Caitlin are both on those teams, save that juice for your own country. So I do respect it from that respect and from the fact of let the legends play, let them phase out. They can't play forever. And after they made some all WNBAs, MVP conversations, then let them go out there. And don't gift it to them. Just like we told the women, don't gift it to them to let them be stars. Let them earn that stuff, man. Don't do that.
Yeah.
What's going on, Trey?
Oh, man,
Go ahead, Trey. You've been chomping at the bit. Go ahead.
Okay. So I think we got, we know what's the girl down in Dallas? She should have been there. She should have been invited. She should have been there. So
she doesn't want to.
She turned it down. Eventually,
Yeah.
she turned it down, but they slighted her in the beginning. I think I think Dante, you correct 1,000%. LA come, these two will definitely be there. They'll be headlining along with Angel, Wilson, my girl from New York. The team that they have outside, listen, Brittany Griner should have been a no-go. She violated world rules. She shouldn't even been on the team. Taurasi, she's too old. Wow. Yeah, she violated. Listen, she violated world rules, man. You can't be doing all that, man. She shouldn't have been on the team. But again, they wanted to save. Angel Reese could have X'd her out. She could have grinded. Angel Reese she would have averaged the double in this stage. You have the great marketing ability. It would have been an opportunity for the WNBA to expand its brand across the world. It would have been a great opportunity because people would have came to see Caitlin Clark. She's all over. People would have came to see Angel Reese, and that marketability around the world, it would have elevated the game. It's just an opportunity missed, I think. It's not about owning. I mean, earning. They earned their spot. Taurasi didn't earn a spot. She's somebody's grandmama. That's all. I mean, other than that, I think it was a good team. Even Chelsea Gray, she's a little older. You got 3 spots they could have been in just for the marketability, man. I think they both would have. I think Caitlin Clark shooting jumpers on a world stage like that, man, hitting those 3-pointers, man, would have been dynamic for the women's sport.
If she would have hit, you would have seen potentially a mirror image of what Steph was doing on the men's side.
Right.
But yeah, I think like y'all mentioned that it was, something that both gold title games for men and women, U.S. versus France. Obviously, both the French team, they were just feeding off their home crowd. Turned out to be a hell of a game. That's basketball sometimes, you know what I'm saying? The U.S. women, they was able to pull it out. I wasn't able to catch all of it because a lot of the games, they was generally starting around afternoon time here.
Right, yeah.
And then this was the last game and the last event because right after the women's gold medal game, closing ceremony. So they had it in the morning. Correct. So, but I was catching some highlights of it and just seeing how the back and forth going. What's her name? Williams on the French team. That woman she was good. She was clutch. Yes. And she was obviously the one who had to toe on the line for the 3-point shot. But, You know, the way she was boogieing them, breaking them girls down off the dribble, coming in and just putting in the jumper right in their eye. So I remember she had some nice cuts to the basket. But yeah, it was good. I think as I was listening to y'all mention about the whole Reese and Clark thing, and it was all about basically keeping this steam that them two ladies brought over from the college to the WNBA, keeping that steam of media attention. And I don't know if this is accurate, but it felt like this. It felt like in this year's Olympics, the men had that attention, especially once Steph started cooking. That's when you really saw the attention. And the women, it was like their game kind of, I don't want to say went into the shadows, but it didn't the way as much noise as the women's team received when the popular when Clark and Reese did not make the team here in the States, as much attention that was getting, that attention didn't seem like it matched in the Olympics. It looked like, I guess by this time you're like, okay, women normally y'all would dominate the competition, y'all beating teams by 15, 20 plus, which they were until that title game. But the men was always seen, well, the men was doing the same thing until the title game too. And so it was interesting because I have no problem now, after everything is passed, their roster is the roster. They show you they delivered on the gold. France just brought it in that gold title game. That's why us as fans, you just should enjoy that. That was a hell of a gold title game, because the women, just like the men, they was dominating up to that point. So you can't say that they made a mistake with the roster.
Right.
French just brought it in that gold title. They turned it into a hell of a gold title game.
Right.
So you got to give props to the French for coming up, putting the game as they did. The roster is the roster, man. The women, Clark and Reese, they'll be right there in 28. So they, I think it does both of them real good because they had nearly a month rest. And I remember Clark was saying she can do well with that because their college game, I don't think people will recognize this. The college game they had, she made it both to the title game, and then the draft is like a week or two away from the title game, and then the WNBA season start like less than a month away from that. So she was always on the move, So it's nothing like the men's side. It's like months go in between. So this month, it does the women good, and I think they start tomorrow back again, WNBA. So you should see a strong second half of the season.
Oh, and shout out to them announcing that the All-Star game is going to be in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Team, and I think that's the league is trying to do everything possible to focus on her being a star, and I will say it's a good thing they do it. Last year when I was in the airport and I was in LA and I saw a woman with an Iowa jersey on, and I was like, oh, that's Caitlin Clark number. We had like a 5-10 minute conversation about Caitlin Clark and how good she was. This is somebody from Texas and this person from Iowa, and it's like she has captured the attention. You can figure out, you can do your Googles and figure out why, but it doesn't matter. The main thing I'm focused about is about the ability and like what is it, the couple $1 billion deal, TV rights deal that media rights deal that they did. So it's like you just want the game to keep pushing. And one thing I wanted, and I know it may be bad to say, but I'll take the heat. I want them to get better and do well so we can stop hearing about the griping. Because that's the one thing I was just like, ladies, I don't know if y'all understand how much.
Is that hearing about what?
The griping.
Oh.
Hey,
yeah, okay.
Griping.
Like, no, y'all are, you didn't. If you haven't been on social media, Trey, like before, like there was a lot of griping about it, and
there was. So
it's like what happens in the women's college game, the NCAA, the food disparities from what they had to the men, that deserves to get called out. But the fact of what the women were doing in the W and what they were doing is sometimes comparing themselves, or there was a point in which I believe it was Andre Iguodala. He called out a woman's number. He was like, man, number such and such is balling. She called him out. And we talked about it here. She was like, he called him out. He was like, her name is And I was just like, that's like a common thing for like, hey, but it's like they're so hypersensitive to it
Yeah.
that they're real chippy about it. And I'm hoping that they got that right still, and I hope they continue to push because there's no reason those owners should have been had them on commercial flights. That's like on charter flights. Excuse me, that was crazy. Like some of it was, and like no men are saying it. And the thing is, if you look at the numbers, part of the biggest of their base are men. Like I remember when it was in its heyday in the beginning. Like my dad, my brothers, we sat there, we watched it. If people win them 4 chips. I always say it's a disgrace that the comments are still around. There's no way in the world you would let the Celtics or the Lakers they just disband it. You would never see that. So it's like,
wow. Well, let's get to certainly the I guess the main topic for this evening is certainly the U.S. men's team. Obviously, throughout this whole game, there was a lot of controversy in terms of the coaching, in terms of guys getting playing time. Jason Tatum, shout out to my Celtics, but again, had got very little playing time, but at the same time, he wasn't really playing that well. I think Derek White got more playing time than he did. Embiid, I think he had some serious time on the bench. So again, all kinds of decisions that were being made. Steve Kerr was taking a lot of heat going, certainly as the games went on. Men were handling their business up until the semifinals. And you had both with the Czech team, and again, I knew that game was going to be tough because, again, trying to play in the same team 3 times within like a month is difficult to win that, get that hat trick. So I knew it was going to be a competitive game. I knew the Serbians certainly would be motivated to win. I was kind of trolling you guys a little bit. I was seeing you guys scores in terms of the games, just like, what's going on, guys? But then you had Steph Curry has his breakout in the semifinal game, scores 36 points, 9 3-pointers in that game. The last 2 games, I believe he was 17 for 26 from 3 in the final 2 games. So he just went off, and they needed every bit of that to come back from the Serbian team, and certainly to hold off the French team. And so, but the final game really stood out for me in that, I don't know about you guys, but are there games that you remember? Like, there's players that we remember. There are plays that we remember in games. But I'm talking about, when was the last time you said that was a great basketball game? And I think certainly Steph and some of the players on Team USA, they were saying that might have been the best game I've ever been a part of. Given the stakes of it, given the competition, given the back and forth, given having to basically pull out all of the tricks to kind of get the win and whatnot. It's certainly one of the better games that I remember seeing ever. And I can go back to like 87 Bird versus Dominique Wilkins, going back and forth, game 7, going Dominique hitting 47 points, whatnot. It's like Bird is Dominique. So again, I remember certain games where I was like, wow, this is a great game. I go back further than that. Bernard King versus Isaiah Thomas, 1984 playoffs. King scores 46, but Isaiah scores 16 points in 90 seconds to send the game to overtime. So there's just certain games I remember like that. But this one, the final game, I've never seen, I don't think, anything like that. Steph hits 4 3-pointers in the last 3 minutes. Again, so just everybody go around, just talk about the final, talk about the game, and then the big controversy that came out of that is LeBron James was given the MVP for the Olympics for all of it, and all of it counts. But people were outraged. They said Steph, even though he was a no-show up until those final 2 games, he got off. And a lot of people saying he should have earned the MVP of this game. So, 1, thoughts on the game itself. 2nd, on the MVP conversation. What do you guys think? Should LeBron have gotten the MVP? He played very well in the series overall. But do you reward consistency, or do you just reward that dog who just goes bonkers and whatnot? So what do you guys say about that, Trey? You got a lot of energy, so you go first on this one here.
Listen, man, I hate couch players. I hate the player that, well, I ain't even gonna call them players, just fans. The couch fan, he's it's not going to change, even just like a regular season NBA. You know, who's the most consistent, who's playing at the highest level. It's just unfortunate and fortunate that LeBron is given the keys to drive the car. LeBron is the elder statesman, so he's given those keys to drive the car. Steph, it was a plan. Steve Kerr knows what he was doing. He's not new to this. He understood. He gonna let Steph is his man, so he start. And you never know what Steph. Listen, Steph could have averaged 30 probably every Olympics, but we don't need you right now. We're gonna save you to the end. Part of it. His shot selections went up. He was able to start getting more shots. The rotation started to shrink down, and yes, it's just a matter of time for him to hit 6, 7 3-pointers in the Olympics. They didn't need him as much, you know. And you saw as the competition wound down with Serbia coming in third, you know, you got the Joker. Those other guys that may not be in the NBA, they 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", they can ball. They just ain't in the NBA. People don't see that. And America, Steve Kerr likes a small ball. He likes small ball, and you know the competition level is always going to increase. Shout out! I'm glad the game was tight like that. I'm glad that he put a bug in these guys that that they have to come in 2028. You have to be at your highest level of competition. I think it's going to be a great team put together coming in. You know, Steph, he was the MVP of the game, but not the Olympics. So,
okay, cool. Dante, what you got on it?
I meant to share. I thought I shared this in the chat, but I shared this in my friend's chat. Anthony Edwards told Steph Curry after the game, he was just like, "Man, nice of you to show up 3 days ago." Like it was, and I appreciate his realness because it's like when I was looking at the stat sheets, I was like, "You guys can't be serious. Your dislike for one person and just propel someone else. You give Steph all his flowers, all the credit, all you want. You have to. We saw the game. That was a great game where it was kind of like I kept thinking we were going to pull away and I was going to do something else and then just watch them win the gold medal, and then it turned into let's hide the remote. I gotta lock in, and because the game was crazy. I finished the workout. I was like, trying to go home, watch Team USA win the gold, and to see the performance that he put on, where it was like even the one that I thought was the dagger, it wasn't. I was like, go ahead, put him to bed, give him the night. And it was like, no. And then the last one, it was just like, okay, no, now it's time to do it. Him and LeBron doing it together. Right. And to see Steph perform like that in his only Olympics, to see, the people that have carried, the people that have made people basketball fans. Like my brother is 19, getting ready to go to college next week. And it's like, this is what you grew up with. You grew up with LeBron, you grew up with KD, you grew up with Steph. And it's just like when you say the NBA being good, and some people, especially younger people, the peak was that series of them, to see them compete against each other and then play with each other with their USA across your chest, that was great. And I want to give props to the 92 Dream Team. I'll say this all day. Yeah, we know they was playing against some Palmers and Stephs, but without them embarrassing the world, without them being popular, we don't get Jokic. We don't get Luka. We don't get them. That's like we gotta step our game up. That was a really quality game we watched, to see Wembanyama, the future, to see the future. So one day you're gonna look at it and say that many Hall of Famers on one team. You're gonna say, hey, Wembanyama here just finished his first year. LeBron 21 years in. Steph at the end of his career. KD, right. All-time Olympic leading scorer. That was great to watch. And I was like, and for the people that can't take it out of it because they don't like LeBron or they don't like KD, that KD responds to fans, it's like, I'm sorry, you take the joy out of stuff. I didn't. I thoroughly enjoyed it because I had this in my Facebook group. I want to say it was Dennis Schroeder used to play for the Lakers. You mentioned, about the basketball IQ and the ability level and the skill level and all this. And everybody's in the comments mentioned, well, he's not wrong. He's not. It's like, yeah, he's not wrong. They have great skills, but we are still the standard. And you may be getting closer, but we still got the guys that are the standards. We still got the guys that KD, when the game got close against Serbia, 6'11", checking people at half court. Like it's go time. It's go time, and he forced the turnover. And it's just like on top of the scoring, So it's just like, no, you can say these guys are catching up. These guys are doing great. I mean, you're playing academies at 12 years old. You know, that's a different story. But congratulations to you. You're still silver and bronze. That's why I put respect Team USA. Give respect to who the best are of this. We are still both women and men still ahead of everybody. Not as far, but still the standard. And I feel like I need to say that and we respect that because sometimes we take it for granted. We literally in our next topic, we're going to talk about 2028. We're literally going to talk about that. But I want to say give them the props and credit. That was a great game. Those last two games, Mr. Bennett, you had me nervous. I had to go ahead. I can't even stream much at work. I'm streaming at my desk, and I'm like, that game, man. Like, look, hey, look, still got the work done, but that game was intense. I wish I could have enjoyed that sitting down. That was intense.
Absolutely, Shawnee, what's your thoughts on the game and on MVP?
MVP goes to LeBron. I mean, if you look at Steph's numbers of the first two games or whatnot, it's terrible. I mean, he couldn't hit anything. And then he woke up the last two. And I remember when he was saying it was one of those clutch threes he made in the gold medal game. And as he was going back to the other side of the court, I remember he took his mouthpiece out and you saw him saying, "Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me." Because basically what you saw in the semifinals and the finals, that Steph is the main reason why the Warriors went on the run they did. Because you see how once he goes off like that, how his teammates will start feeding off of that. And they was playing in the Oracle, and the fans will start feeding off that. Because you saw how the French audience was going when he was going off like that. So that give you how the Warriors were so good during that time. Because once that dude starts going off like that, you talking about it's an immediate steroid shot to everybody in that arena, teammates and the fans. But yeah, I mean, it was just an incredible sight to see him going off in those two games, and I think that especially because U.S. had to come back versus Serbia and whatnot. But the biggest thing, because them dudes are super competitive. So I think when those games get close, it's the total opposite of what we complain about with the All-Star game, how they don't show no interest in it and whatnot. These games, when they get close, it like wakes up that competitive spirit in them. And then next thing you know, especially when they was playing against Serbia, turnovers, clutch shot making, it's just something that wakes them. Okay, now we in the game. And they just go off. They feed off of that. And one of the biggest things though that I took away from it was that this Olympics was carried by the old heads. I'm waiting for the young dudes to really step up. I'm waiting for the Anthony Edwards. I'm waiting, Derek White had a good show in the earlier part of the tournament. You hear everything everybody know about with Jason Tatum. Tyrese Halliburton, you talking about a dude who just accepted his role. His role was on the bench. And he was happy. Matter of fact, when they won a goal, he put a social media post out there, basically, equivalent of you winning, you getting an A whatnot, and you didn't do no work. So he was happy. The dude was smiling all the time on the bench. So
self-awareness on 100.
Yeah. So, but it was LeBron, Steph, and KD on a regular basis, and then and Booker, cause he's in the middle. He's a young dude, but he's on the middle because he had years in the league. But he played his role good, and then you had AD and Bam fill in. But those big three was the main reason why they won those two games. And so I'm not expecting them to be there in 28. They older.
Yeah.
But so you looking at these young dudes. Only thing I could look at them now, especially Anthony Edwards and Tyrese Halliburton, that they because before Dante brought it up here in the country, and probably some of the NBA players do as well. They took it for granted that we NBA basketball players, we can just walk through this tournament. knowing that them other dudes, they've been playing with each other for a long time. They're a good team. You literally got to merge together like in 2 weeks compared to them playing world championships together and whatnot. USA did that during the 2008, because they did that. That's how I believe that's probably the best Olympic
But he
team
said that's the redeem
played.
team, right? That's the
Yeah,
redeem
because
team.
they played with each other so longer compared to all the other teams. So it was a well-oiled machine when they came in the Olympics. But yeah, I'm looking at the young dudes because you going to 28, okay, you know these other countries will bring it. You can't take it for granted now. And you got a chance to experience it. You got to see how close these games are. So when 28 come, I'm expecting Anthony Edwards to be one of the leaders. Him and Tyrese Halliburton, if they choose to do it again, which I'm pretty sure they probably will. And it's a standard you're going to hold. You're going to hold these other players who come on this Olympic squad, because you don't want to be that, as great as y'all are in the NBA, you do not want to be that USA squad that gets eliminated. And you can get eliminated and not even make a bronze game as much higher as the world's come. So that's who I'm looking at, because I'm noticing it was the old heads who led the charge in this Olympics. And I mean, throughout the whole thing.
Right.
You know, so it's going to be interesting to see the young dudes when they go in 28.
Which is the reason why I'm very pessimistic. Okay, so first of all, Steph should have got the MVP, because again, you can't under what it would have been like if they would have got eliminated either by the Serbians, certainly, or in the gold medal game. That would have been disastrous had they lost that. Steph clearly bailed them out of that. So again, I had no problem giving it to Steph, especially the way he closed out the final game. Again, we haven't seen that in the NBA finals. We haven't seen that in quite some time. I remember Michael Jordan back, I think, when they played the Trailblazers, he had 6 3-pointers, and he goes and he shrugs his hands like, it's like this. It's like, what are we gonna do? But I mean, in clutch time, to come up with that kind of performance in that time, I give it to Steph. It's his first. I mean, LeBron's been there before. It's his first Olympics or whatnot. I would have gave it to Steph. Secondly, the world is here. They're not coming. They're already here. Mm-hmm. It took the shooting and the play of 3. You could make an argument these are like almost GOAT players. LeBron is definitely on that Mount Rushmore. Steph is clearly the greatest shooter that ever played, and Durant is going to be up there, arguably top 10 players of all time. It took, as you said, Shawnee, those old heads. They said, scrap this team ball stuff. They went back to Record Park. They went back to West Coast. This is one-on-one. This is gonna be, look, we playing our game. Forget international rules and all that. Forget the team stuff. Forget the ball moving. It's like, you know what, Steph, you got it. You know what I mean? Just players just making plays. Just make your play. Do your ISO and just do what you do. I mean, Steph, he had 2 7-footers in his face, went to shoot, faked the guys out, steps to the left, and then goes up and just drills the 3-pointer. You can't teach that. You can't coach that. That's just there. So it took a supernatural effort by supernatural players showing up in clutch time for them to pull this out. And I don't think that this new crop of guys are even close or even show the potential. Ant-Man, I don't see him having the potential to be where any of these guys were. I don't think he'll ever be as good as KD or LeBron or Steph. So unless we get that next superstar, that guy we might not have even seen yet, who comes into the league by that time, someone who has that Mamba mentality or whatever, I don't know who that's going to be. But the world, as far as the world game, these guys were big. I mean, the thing that got me about the French team, those guys are huge, right? They got Wemby and they had Gobert, and then they had the other French guy who dunked on LeBron. I mean, big guys. It's a physical game. If the U.S. wants to continue to maintain dominance, honestly, I may consider changing NBA rules to mimic more of the international game. Because those guys, those guys are here. But it took that kind of supernatural effort. You can't count on that all the time. if you really want to compete at this level. And there was a lot of those players, especially for France, for Serbia. And again, we talked about China at the beginning of the show. I was a little surprised that China wasn't in the mix. Give it 4 years, they might be, title contenders back then if they continue to invest in the program. So the world is catching up to clearly to us. I think they've matched us. We just had to go into goat mode. cheat mode. What's the cheat code on the game?
Exactly.
Left, right, left, pound, or whatever.
We got a level the world don't have yet.
Forget all that. Yeah, we had to break the bottle. We had to break the flask and pull out that thing in order to pull this out. So for that reason alone,
emergency.
Exactly. Yeah, we needed every bit of it. So that's where I think Team USA basketball is, especially if we're only going to be getting together a couple of weeks every 4 years. So again, but you could help if you enter again, because you also have a lot more international players. And we already talk about certain players that are in the NBA that play no defense. That the game is kind of certainly not as physical as the European game. Maybe it would get some of these guys playing defense better, or or maybe the guys who are getting all the spotlight, like the guy from Dallas, he may not be that good if you put a body on him, or if he has to play a lot more physical game. So you might want to introduce some of that just to get some of these players used to saying, "Hey, this is a different brand of basketball." And if we're not ready, if we're not sending these, best players, we're always saying, is Jokic the best player in the NBA? That's an argument. But if you're going to continue to have these guys going, I don't think, it wouldn't surprise me at all in 28 that we don't get on the podium unless we do some things to really get ready for that contest.
But the problem with
go ahead, Trey.
The problem with the other teams is they don't have enough GOAT players like America that has the NBA. You got one or two players that, and those players are in the NBA. But when you look at even with Serbia, where they got the Joker, you didn't know anybody else. They didn't. So
I get you, but I'm saying, but we had 3 GOAT players on this team that won't be there in 28.
Yeah, well.
So I'm saying, who's gonna fill those holes? No one's filling. I don't know anybody who shoots on his level in the NBA.
Nobody's gonna shoot on Steph's level. Ant-Man has the opportunity to take the Rams. They better be working on Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, and I don't know who the third person could be, but somebody better merge in between that time.
Cooper Flag. I am high on the Cooper Flag train. He was the guy that was competing with the team, that was practicing with them, and he was looking very good. I will say this, as far as he's a player that's going to be at Duke this year.
He's probably going to be a one and done.
He ain't going to
be a one and done guy at Duke.
He ain't going to be there.
He's 17.
He ain't going to be there. He ain't going to be there. I can see the kid down in Orlando. He might be there.
Team USA. Pablo Bell. All right, I'm going to give you a list that's right here of guys that are potentially going to go. Obviously, the biggest question mark is health and decisions. Ja Morant. So Ja Morant, we know the ability. Tyrese Halliburton, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards. Those are potential. Jason Tatum, he'll be 30 then, so he's still in his prime. So especially to redeem himself for the way things happen this time, he'll be one of the builder statements.
He's on the team. Jason Tatum is on the team. He's on. So you don't put Donovan Mitchell as a guard on that team?
He could be. The only thing is he's a volume shooter guy, and if there's other volume shooter guys that are better than him, that's where it becomes. Anthony Edwards is better than him. Devin Booker, that's one I can see you. I don't just love Devin Booker like that, so I can swap him out. I could swap him out. He'll be 31. No, that's the thing. Those guys are really young. Halliburton will be young enough on the forwards. Paulo Banchero.
And where's your height?
He ain't got none yet.
Where's your height?
Paulo Banchero, that's a 6'9" big wing. So you got a big wing in him. You have Jason.
Where's he from?
Orlando.
I know he's from the Magic. I'm just saying. I mean, he may,
Oh, is he from
Seattle, Washington? He's black and Italian.
Okay, so look, he may play for Italy if they pay him enough. You never know. Because I know the French, they were all over Embiid for not picking Team France. They were booing him every chance they got. So you never know with these players. They can go,
As far as size, we got Chet Holmgren. They're projecting, which I think so, especially with a guy like Wembanyama to go and deal with his skill. I will say for the Mavericks, Derek Lively is a guy that was playing in the finals at 20 years old. That's a guy that you can look. And then for today's game, the way it is played, Bam Adebayo, that really showed in the Olympics. I was like, okay, so the Heat are kind of holding you back. You're better than what I thought you were. You can do more, but you're playing with Jimmy Butler. And it was one of those things to where, just like Evan Fournier, he's a C-level NBA player. When he gets over to play for his home team, he turns into an MVP candidate. So imagine the guys that are in America that can do that. Those are just a few of the names. I'll say there should be. I mean, I wish you could. Zion's name is listed, but I haven't seen him be healthy, so I swipe right past it.
Right.
So it's one of those deals. There are young players, and there's still some people that are on the cusp of being an all-star that can emerge in 4 years. That's the thing that's going to make 28 so fun. We don't have the GOATs to come save us. What are the young guys going to come do to prove that we are still the standard? Because I can say you can talk about how they're skilled, how they've caught up with us, they're this, all those things. Like I see the clips with Luka and different people saying, "Oh, it's easy to play in the NBA." And they show, I hate to say it, but the Celtics showed you in the finals. It's not too easy. You didn't come on with the ring. So I think it'll be funner in 28 to do it. Mr. Bennett, man, you know what? You're a pessimist.
And they're losing some defense because Drew Holiday's not going to be there. So one of your defensive aces, he's going to be gone. So
that's going to be huge.
I don't think AD's going to be there at that age. I don't think he's going to be there.
They got their goals, so they should be good. But I agree, Mr. Ben, when you brought up the point about maybe the NBA got to somehow inherit some of these FIBA rules. I remember during the gold game, Wembanyama, that ball was clearly in the cylinder. It damn near probably would have dropped in the goal.
Right.
He dunked the ball, and I'm like, damn, this
there's no goaltending. I don't think there's no goaltending in
it's legal. It was legal.
Yeah.
But those players you just named, Dante, I still don't, because like Mr. Bennett said, the world is here. Them dudes are playing hella team ball. None of them dudes are standout players, but them boys are just banging threes and USA together, had nice ball movement. They was challenging the hell out of USA defense, and a lot of those players that you named are not really the best defenders. You know, they just looking for offense. So I don't, besides like Lively and stuff, but you know, and the US gonna have, I don't think, like we were saying, but it took 3 GOAT players to deliver this gold medal. I think if the US wants to have another shot at a gold, they're gonna have to take a page out of 28 and 08 team. You're gonna have to put a team together that can play in the world championship and so on and get used to. You ain't gonna be able to do this 2 weeks before the Olympics and think they're gonna get embarrassed and then get eliminated. The world team, these teams in the world, you don't have, it's not about big names.
South Sudan, they barely beat.
Exactly. They play real good because they've been playing with each other. Like Trey brought it up. The thing that got the world teams, what they will never be able to have compared to US is the depth. Yes, they have these marquee players on the top, but you keep going down the roster compared to the USA team where everybody's an all-star. They don't have that, but they played with each other so long. Basketball is still a team sport. You can have all these star players if you want to. Eventually, because they're not going to jail. You know, it's just you just had this level of play that none of these other teams have. When you could throw Steph, LeBron, and KD out there, they don't have that. They can't even touch that.
Yes.
As good as Joker is, he's not on that level yet. But
that's generational talent, man.
Yeah, exactly. So they had to dip and they toe in that generational talent well more than one time to deliver this gold. Yeah. So I just can't see. You can't do that with this current play. I just don't see nobody in the NBA right now who you can put 2 weeks together before the Olympics and expect them to try out there and win gold. You're gonna have an embarrassing squad. Because it's just,
but I think,
saw how good the team was.
The only silver line, again, the fact that it is in LA, I think that's going to certainly inspire some guys to do what you're saying, to play in that world, to whatnot, knowing that the Olympics is going to be in 28 in the U.S. in LA. I think that would be certainly some motivation for some guys to come, because a lot of guys don't want to try, especially after the season, traveling somewhere international and dealing with all that kind of stuff. You know, you want to be on your home court. So if anything, that should. What's that?
a lot of the NBA players were declining the offers for like the Olympic squad and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So
but I think it's the
yeah,
fact that it's in LA. I think that that may be
maybe
a that might be a motivator for them to take part in it. Because again, just dealing with the international, especially with the world being as crazy as it is, but I think being on a home court, that could be an incentive for some guys. But yeah. But speaking of LA, so again, my wife after the games, because I mean she loves the Olympics. Shout out again to the goat on on the gymnast side and whatnot. So she definitely wants to see that. Now, if she shows up, that'll be a story. I don't think she has another one in her. But don't put anything past this lady. She may get back there again. But yeah, we're actually seriously looking to plan to go to LA for 2028. And so I'm already subscribed to the LA 2028 site. So when they talk about tickets and things like that, definitely start to do some planning. Definitely, I got to. As long as I see track and field and basketball, I'm good. I don't have to see everything. And my wife sees gymnastics, and then we're good. So everything else can go. I don't need to see
you want to
swimming
see
or
the
anything.
speed climbing.
No, I don't need to see any of that. But as long as I want to see some basketball, and I want to see the track and field.
I think China won that speed climbing too.
Yeah. So
You want to see the double dutch, Mr. Bennett? What's wrong with you, man? Double dutch, man.
I
China
know
probably
it's
win
due,
that
but then someone from another country or whatever gonna go in there and screw it up, and then that's gonna be the mean that's just gonna take away to everything for it. So it'll be again, show my dog breakdancing again, man. It's gonna be like that again. So play my dog dancing in the back, but that's gonna steal everything pretty much. So we But we're definitely planning to go. And in fact, I'm honestly I've never been to LA ever. So again, definitely I need to have that on my bucket list anyway. But to go out there for the Olympics, that'd be pretty special. And
one real quick thing about Mr. Bennett, because I heard, cause you know how the Olympics was in France, but they had those surfing events way down in the French Polynesia and Tahiti.
Yeah.
So I was hearing, so in this Olympics, it was the swimming events, and then the beginning, and then the track events bookend. Now in the U.S., I heard it's going to be flip flop. So the track events are going to be held in the beginning, and the swimming, because they are going to put the swimming pool and convert the whole swimming thing inside SoFi Stadium. So when they have the opening ceremony, basically the pool and whatnot is going to be there, but they're going to have a platform and all that, cover it all up. They're going to have the ceremony, and then the reason why they flip flop, because it's going to give them time to transform SoFi for the swimming event. And I think they're going to be able to hold by 30K the way they, make the whole.
But SoFi is going to be the whole stadium, right? They're going to have this opening ceremony.
It's going to be the whole stadium. The Coliseum, I think, is going to be doing something, and there's going to be.
They're going back there. That place is old, man.
Coliseum. It's going to be, and it's going to be some events way down. And LA is hosting it, but they're going to have some events in Oklahoma. I forgot what exactly was.
Oklahoma.
I'm on those days too. I'm fired up and all about it too. So I'm trying to go. That's gonna be our family trip.
I forgot what events is gonna be in Oklahoma, but hey, France gonna have one way down the Pacific, and Oklahoma is only like 1,000 something miles from LA, so I guess they can live with that.
Only 1,000 miles.
To us, it's a lot. But France say, watch this, and they proved us all wrong. So
true that.
I was thinking like, what the hell they gonna have these surfers at? There ain't no waves like that in France. And they ain't nowhere near France. That's why.
I heard that. All right, guys. Let's sum up with again final thoughts. So again, I'll start first again. Just on the NFL front, unfortunately for the I think it's for the Vikings, they drafted McCarthy. He's out for the year with the surgery. So again, very unfortunate there. I know, certainly they made the plunge. I know his draft stock increased greatly going into the draft after winning the championship. So I don't know where that puts the Vikings. Sure that they'll try to sign some sort of vet to step up. But again, sad for them. And Trey, I haven't heard anything out of Dallas. What did you hear anything out of Dallas? I was hearing something.
What I heard out of Dallas is I know CeeDee Lamb still holding out.
Nah, I was trying to cue you, man. I want the cricket. I want the cricket. I want the crickets, man.
They was focusing in too. They was listening intently. Like, what Dallas? He was looking like Dallas. No.
So not sure what's going on with the Cowboys. No action on that front as of yet. So, but as far as my Steelers, certainly we'll see Russ start the next game. Kind of mixed review on our starter from Chicago. Did some good things, but again had two fumbles at the snap. And, so certainly they got some things to clean up there, but definitely looking forward to see Russell Wilson make his debut here. And, man, couple weeks to, 3 more weeks and we start the season. So definitely looking forward to the NFL. But, Shawnee, you want to take the next one?
Well, my final thoughts, going back to the women's track, shout out to Julian Alfred when she won that 100. And I was trying to look at the social media or whatnot, internet, to see how her St. Lucia will return, welcome her return, because that's their first ever medal,
right?
And she had, got a gold over a favorite in Richardson. So it was either Richardson or one of the Jamaicans, but the Jamaicans, they didn't run. So shout out to her. I think somebody made a joke, and she chose to, she won the gold that day, and she chose to run for president. As soon as she touched down in St. Lucia, she'll win.
Wow.
That woman probably will never have to pay for anything, ever on the island. They're going to treat her like a queen, And I saw a video, it was before, I think it was after she won the world championship or whatnot, how they embraced her. I can imagine how it's going to be when she come back from the Olympics. So shout out to Alfred and St. Lucia. That's a big win.
Absolutely. Dante, who you got?
All right, so like I told you guys in the chat, like for my final thoughts is just the fact that respect Team USA. I want to keep with that theme. We were talking about how difficult it is, and I want to say it's a sports group I'm a part of. It's called the Wave, Sports Wave, and they are it's a mix of older guys and some younger, and it's a lot of fighting because it's like, I don't know if you guys have seen it, the whole clips. They're funny because I think they're meaning it in jest and not in actuality. But like, we're done with the 90s, and they're showing clips of like Jordan and different greats from the era, and it's like, it's cool, it's all in jokes. But if we want to be real about it, sometimes we got to stop comparing what they did at the Dream Team. Like, we got to let the Dream Team go, respect them for what they did. We're seeing the fruits of the Dream Team of guys, how great they are and how great these players are now. And I feel like it's never enough. We literally gave 30 seconds, or we gave like 2 minutes, a half of a segment to giving props to Team USA. And then we went right into, I don't know if they can do it in 28. I want to bask in this one. Like you said, it's like Mr. Bennett said in the previous segment, we do have the ability if it's going to be here, if the Olympics and games are going to be here, so we can kind of rest from the season for the summer. All of y'all didn't make the finals, and then get ready to go play, to go defend our gold and get another one. But just not the lack of respect for it. And it's just like, oh, well, why are the games so close? And it's like, dude, it's not 92, it's not 96, or that it's not 2000. Like, dude, like the world has gotten better. They've gotten a lot better, and it's gotta be right. Guys gotta be healthy. If you're not healthy, you got $100 million deal. You need to go take care of that and don't clog up the space for the Olympics. Halliburton was hurt. He was hurt during the NBA season, never got to really heal up. Those guys got to get healthy, but their respect. And
Whoop, did we lose you? All right, if you get a chance, you swing on back. Trey, you want to give your final thought, and we'll see if Dante, if he comes back. Great.
Shout out to all the Olympians, man, who all who participated, everybody's family who supported them, man, win or lose, man.
I'm sorry, Dante, you got cut off at the end there. You wanted to make your last
I got cut off. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I was like, stop the hating on the one person, like, of LeBron. I saw people, and I'm just saying, you don't have to be a super patriotic person. I know I am. I think it's my roots in this country, my and there's a lot that goes into that. But as ADOS, I got roots here, so it's like, I root for the country. I get proud. If you look at it, when you look at the Olympics, on an even playing field, like I saw someone play. You see why so many Black Americans are winning these races because, hey, it's even. So look at what we can do. Look how great we are. But to root for the team, people who are rooting for other countries. I can see other people because it's like you're tired of the guys here, or the foreign influence. Your favorite player plays for this country, but he's not good enough. We're still the standard. Give us the respect. We'll handle 2028. But I thoroughly enjoyed the game, and I think that we should stop discarding the guys for what they're doing and disrespecting it. That's why we had a lull, and when people wanted to lose it, not wanting to play, that's why that in world events in 2004 we got a bronze medal because the excitement wasn't there. The 2008 Embiid team brought the feeling back. I want to keep that feeling, especially with the 20 will be a young team. So that's going to be really exciting. So respect to Team USA, and that's all I got for us.
Gotcha. All right, close us out, Trey.
Hey, man. The Olympics are now over. All of us old heads, all of us Americans with children between the ages of 12 and 15, you have 4 years to get your children in shape and allow them to participate in the Olympics in some capacity. This is the greatest opportunity. Even if you don't listen, you don't even have to get a passport. It's a great opportunity over the next 4 years to get a little bit more focus, get off the couch, get our children involved, our preteens involved, allow them to just see what the world is about. Give them an opportunity to, to develop some of these great skills that they can utilize to change their lives. It's a great opportunity, I believe America will show up again. I believe America will show out. Shout out to everybody who's participating in some type of sports. Get out there, enjoy yourselves. You only get to live once, man. All of us old people, let's eat better. Try to incorporate some exercise. Brother Bennett, he's probably over benching 270, 300, 335, squatting 400 pounds, and he's an OG like me. So, just take advantage of your youth, man. It's a lot of great opportunities being brought available to you as you get older. Just take advantage of them. Other than that, hey, man, be safe out here, man. The world's crazy. Protect yourself, protect your family, man.
Awesome. Again, thanks everyone again for joining us tonight. Again, before you leave, just hit the like button on the way out. Again, it really helps us out. But again, certainly a pleasure to be with you guys again. Olympics are up again next week. Again, more NFL. Hopefully we'll hear something out of Dallas to give us something to talk about. But definitely looking forward to that show. So again, on behalf of myself, Mr. Bennett, Brother Trey Ferg, Brother Dante, Brother Shawnee, this is the One-on-One Sports Show on the BMU Network. We'll see you guys next week. Take care. God bless.